Thank you, everybody, and thank you, John. You set the stage like just perfectly for LifeX and what we are doing. So, actually, let me see. There we go. So, what we are doing is we are building the future of living, and I'm going to make this very personal and ask some questions. Like, I want to know from this audience how many people have lived outside of London, let's say outside of UK for more than, not 2 weeks, not 3 months of backpacking, but actually lived outside of UK for, let's say, a year or about, if you can raise your hands. Oh, great. Wow. Okay, awesome. So then you'll really hopefully connect to our story. So I'm Ritu, Jain. I'm one of the co-founders of LifeX, and I actually come from technology product world. And around 4 years ago, I was asked by my technology company if I had ever thought about doing a stint in Copenhagen. And I was like, why not? How hard could it be? I will get to build a product team there. And I flew from San Francisco to Copenhagen without knowing much about the culture, without knowing much about the city, and really thought that, how hard can it be, really? And what I realized very quickly was that it is very hard to move. And it's because the housing structure is not necessarily built for people that want to be moving professionally. So a big problem, for example, is bank account, right? You can't really get a bank account until you're registered your address. When I first arrived, I had a corporate apartment with my company. I could not register my address. It was supposed to be a 1-year stint, and the only apartments I could get were 2-year leases. I was like, what do I do now? I was in Airbnb. I was really stuck. So for over a year, I was building a product team of around 40 people working under me while struggling to figure out where I'm going to go home, how am I going to get my paycheck, and what am I going to do tomorrow with my suitcases, right? And so I think this is the real problem that we saw. So myself and Suna, who is my husband and co-founder in LifeX, and we both come from product backgrounds, and we really were thinking about how this problem needs to be solved today, right? And this is just Copenhagen. If you look at other cities, there's similar struggles. In Paris, actually, if you move there, you need to actually show your pay slip for last 3 months to be able to get housing in Paris. And if you're a new person moving to Paris, forget about it. You're pretty much SOL, right? So, I think what we realize is that the way housing structures work today doesn't necessarily cater to people that might want to move for 2 years, 3 years to a city, settle there, be a contributing member, and be able to leave, right? So that was the inspiration for us. And I think that's pretty much why we started LifeX. What we realized was that there are a lot of professionals out there today that are moving globally for work. So in the companies that we were working at, around 70 to 80% of employees were coming from different cities. I think John mentioned it's really hard to get talent today, and I think that's where the talent comes from, right? And what are these people looking for? What they're looking for is flexibility. They're looking for a model that can help them come in with a suitcase and find a home, right? They're looking for convenience, a subscription model, so they don't have to worry about the toilet paper or bed linens or furniture themselves, and they have a convenience of something just in one bill that they can just pay. They don't have to worry about who is the internet provider or what the utilities are, right? The third thing is a lot of people are looking for community. I heard in UK they actually appointed a minister of loneliness, so I'm not really sure what exactly is going on with that, but I think this is a really, a fundamental challenge in our society today. More and more people feel like they don't have somebody to go home to and be able to talk to, right? So that is a big thing that people are looking for. And the last one is sustainability, right? It's a big American dream to be able to have your house and a garage and your car, and it's very individualistic society. But what we're seeing is that it's also impacting our environment. What is it that we can share today, and how can we live better in a shared economy, right? So this is what these professionals are thinking about. And this is a design thinking that we really went through as we started LifeX in some ways. And what this has done is it's opened a really new sector for living. It's called co-living. And co-living is a way to really give these professionals solution to live together. And I think it's not just us. This is from a real estate report that came out. It's one of the biggest growing sector right now in real estate. So I'm super excited to hear that real estate companies are paying attention to a new form of living. And so we come from a product technology world, and we are here to partner with the real estate companies to solve this challenge in some ways. So what is LifeX mission? LifeX mission is to really make people feel at home anywhere in the world. And that's really important, right? What is home? What does it really mean, right? And so for us, it's all about, I don't know why it went on the side. That was a little weird. But it's all about creating a tech-enabled shared co-living spaces that are family-style homes. So you're living with 5 to 6 other people that you get to know very intimately, and it's an active community of people that you can reach out to for help, for a new job, or if you want to visit a new city, have a friend there, right? So that's how we define co-living. It's not box living, it's not dorm living, it's high-end, meaning it's not IKEA, low-end furniture, but it's actually something special that you get for living with other people. It's not, you get a better quality of living because you're sharing it with other people, right, essentially. So what does that really mean? So in terms of design, we actually focus a lot on how we design our units. Like I said, we lease actually basically family-style units. They're typically 130 meters square and up. We work with a design company that does end-to-end designing for us and furniture for us, and we have a very automated system to do that, where they have an apartment, a box concept for us in their warehouse, and as soon as we press a button, in 4 weeks, everything arrives for us. So what we create are these really luxurious spaces for people to live together, and with furniture that's high-end, something that you wouldn't be able to afford on your own, but now that you're sharing it with 6 people, it actually makes sense to have. Really large dining areas where you can actually bring your friends over for dinners, cook with the other members that you're living with, and very comfortable homes and rooms, so you feel like you are coming home and you're living with 4 or 5 other people that you get to know, rather than 600 people in a building or 20 people that might be moving in and out, right? The second thing that's really important to us is community. So one of the things that we see is that, there are different types of living solutions. We are more medium-term to long-term, so you have to live at LifeX for a minimum of 3 months. And that's because it really impacts the community. You get to know the people you live with. We have no locks in our rooms. There's no locker rooms either. So I think the idea is that you really get to know people that come from different backgrounds, different companies, and you cook dinners together, and then you have events together. Coming from product technology background, you think about community, you're like, okay, let's create an app, and everybody's going to be on Facebook, and it'll be a community. But that's not real community. Community is taking technology and figuring out how to enable in-person community. That's what we're really focused on. There's a lot of research that shows that you make friends when you run into people in serendipitous environments. So, for example, if you run into people at gyms that you go to, etc. So that's why having a way that you can create environments for people to run into each other and give them opportunity to connect with others creates a way for them to create friendships, right? And these are people that are moving from new cities to other, and so that's what they're seeking, and that's what they're looking for. Based on the design community, everything is centered around technology for us. So we, from the beginning, have been thinking about how do we make a concept like this scalable? So it's everything from what you see online. You can go to joinlifex.com to, you get to see all the different properties that we have, to room details. You can tell us what you would like to book. You go to member evaluation, to, even our back-end systems, things that you don't get to see. Everything from how we do our ordering systems to how we work with issues management, how do we actually do check-ins, check-outs. So all of that is completely automated in a technology system. And lastly, there are human interfaces when it's needed and when it's most appropriate, right? So how do we connect our community? We have a lot of members that create their own events and they get people together, and the way they do that is through some of the technology solutions that we provide. So I think if you look at LifeX, we have three main things in our DNA. It's the design thinking, it's the community, and the fact that it's tech in the center of everything we do. It's amazing. And who are these people? Where do they come from? Most of our members actually come from companies. So they're working at everything from startups to scale-ups to larger banks to consulting firms, even some of the top restaurants in the world like Noma. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's in Copenhagen. And they are all professionals between the age of 25 to 45. And what you'll see is that there are more and more people that are staying single longer. So they're looking for a different way of living so that they can still have a community while they're being single, right? We have over 50 nationalities at LifeX, people from all over the world. We have over 500 members that have been through LifeX. We have 300 active members living there today. And we have quite a few couples that actually live with us as well. So, I mean, it is a trend that's not just for singles, but it's actually couples that are interested in a concept like this too, right? And for us, I think it's, when we started, the big thing was that we wanted to create a solution that brought everyone together. So we care about all our stakeholders that are part of this. The big thing is when I moved to Copenhagen, I felt like that was a very poor and bad experience for me. And I was like, how can I make it better for anybody else that's moving to a city? How can I make it such that they feel at home, right? And it was recognized by Copenhagen municipality, and they gave us an award for helping them attract talent to the city. And you'll see that a lot of cities in the world today are looking for that. They're looking for solutions that can help them attract talent because that's what the companies are asking for. So for us, it's very important that all the stakeholders that we work with are happy and are happy with the solution that we provide. We do something called NPS surveys. It's called Net Promoter Score, something that Nike started. And our NPS is around 67 to 70. Most software products are around 20 to 25. So it actually means that our stakeholders and our members are super happy with the services that we provide. And I think that's the key thing that we've been really looking for, is to focus on a product experience that can solve not only people's problems, but they're happy so that when they move from, let's say, Berlin to Paris, they would want to move into LifeX again, right? Or recommend other people to LifeX. Another story I wanted to share is that, until just 2 months ago, we started 2 years ago, and just until 2 months ago, we had done zero marketing. Most of our members actually come from referrals. Around 30 to 40% of our members come because other members are referring them to us, and over 50% of them come from our companies that we work with. So I think what you'll see is that not only is this a growing trend, but if you create a product that's a great experience, you don't really need to spend on marketing then, right? So it's quite interesting. And we have been growing quite fast. We started 2 years ago. We are now in 6 cities, started in Copenhagen, now in Paris, Berlin, Munich, Vienna, and London. Super excited to launch in London now. And we have over 12,000 meters square of real estate under management, and over 95% occupancy in all our locations that we have. So a concept that's been scaling super fast, and it's because of the adoption that we see from the member side and then from the real estate side also, where the companies can see that there's a value to provide a product like this. So behind us are quite a few different investors. We are super pleased to have some of the brightest technology minds on board, but we also have some real estate folks as well. And so it's just the start of our journey. We are still learning quite a bit and iterating on our model. So yeah, I hope you guys will come and talk to me about LifeX. We can answer questions that you might have. And if you're looking for partners, you'll come chat with us, because we know as technologists we can't do this alone, and we want to partner with the real estate companies here. So, thank you.